Other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilist and the atheist, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. Wow. Now that sounds intense. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a certain individual that I believe has the key information as to what's going on in Israel. Now, I'm not really going to be going into extreme depths of what's happening over there because you guys already know, but I will be sharing information with you that I guarantee very few of you have heard. About 3 years ago, when I had first started my TikTok journey, I came across the written works of a man named Albert Pike. Albert Pike, according to many historians, was an American author, poet, and lawyer. According to many other sources, Pike was heavily involved in the Freemasons and was a very well-known Luciferian. But we're not here to discuss any of those things about him. We're here to discuss or expose a particular letter or letters that I believe describe exactly what is happening around the world. These letters supposedly predicts World War I, World War II, and World War III. And what's so interesting about this, to me at least, is the fact that it was written in the late 1800s, August 15th, 1871 to be exact, which means that these predictions would have come decades before the actual events took place. But let's skip straight to the World War III prediction because I know that's why you're here. The Third World War, it is said to be the last, by Albert Pike. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agency of the Illuminati. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. What does that sound like? Right off the bat, we can see that this war is between political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. Let's keep reading the letter though. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilist and the atheist, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. Wow. Now that sounds intense. I think the key words right here is absolute atheism. This kind of reminds me of what Jesus says regarding the end times in Matthew 24. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all the nations for my name's sake. And then later on he says, and because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. Maybe this explains the falling away. I wonder if this is referring to that terrible time in the future where atheism is shown in its complete power. After all, atheism is a stance based on, well, nothing. Atheism is only whatever I say goes because there is no God. There is no objective morality with atheism. So at some point in time, hopefully not the near future, but at some point in time, there will probably be an exponential rise in atheism and an exponential decrease in religious beliefs. Therefore, the majority of those on the earth will be empowered by the spirit of Satan, the Antichrist, probably ushering in a reign of terror led by atheistic leaders. Christians will probably be delivered unto death and absolutely despised by the world. Now, for all you Christians out there, I know that you can sense what I'm talking about. I know you can sense the hatred that the world has for us, but don't lose hope. This is not to scare you, but to bring this to your awareness. We know that God has not given us a spirit of fear. I believe that Christians are going to set aside their minor differences and come together as the true body of Christ and become very, very strong. The Bible tells us that to live is Christ and to die is gain. So either way, it's a win-win. The pain we feel here will not even be comparable to the glory we receive in heaven. I know that's easier said than done, but it's just a fact. Let's stay strong in the faith and encourage one another. But anyway, let's continue to read. Then everywhere, the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render adoration. Now check this out. will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer brought finally out in public view. Now that should automatically tell you what the motive is right away. Listen to this. It says, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer brought finally out in public view. I mean, what a blasphemous thing to say. How can you call what is good evil and what is evil good? Satan is not the light. He literally embodies darkness. He is the complete opposition to Christ. John 3:19-21 says, this is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people love darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all the atheism or Satanism or anything that opposes Christ really is. But lastly, Pike says in his letters, this manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Now, little does Albert Pike know, but he and his side are going to lose. All enemies of God will be completely destroyed with an eternal fire. Satan's plan will not end in success, but rather complete destruction. Let me read their soon-to-be future. The book of Revelation says, when the 1,000 years are over, Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, and to gather them for battle. In number, they are like the sand on the seashore. They marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of God's people, the city that he loves. But fire came down from heaven and devoured them, and the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night, forever and ever. In conclusion, you can see what the satanic goal of the world really is. It is to eliminate Christ and establish an atheistic reign of power. It may be successful for a little bit, but it will not last. Nothing of Satan lasts. Him and his works again will be destroyed in the unquenchable fire. Come to Jesus while you can. Enter into the rest of the Lord. Have faith and be saved. Jesus wants us to be saved. He wants to love us. He wants us to love him. He wants us to enter into the light. But I made this video because I thought it was interesting. I love stuff like this. I love learning the tactics of the enemy, and I love exposing the darkness for what it truly is. So I hope you all have a great day, and yeah, like and subscribe. Peace.